Loving people, loving Jesus. And that slogan has been with us for almost 3 years now. And it's always neat when we put sort of things on pause for a moment, look forward and say, God, what are you doing? What is it that you have in store for the church, even here at Glendale, and then to celebrate the past, but also to look forward with excitement to the future. What's the church about? Well, it's about people surrendering their love for Jesus and their love for people, and then all of that comes together. And we've got some good things that we want to share with you today about what that means when that happens. And I'm going to throw a few numbers at you, and this may not mean anything to you, but let me simply suggest when you start looking at the pulse beat of the church, there's something that's been happening lately. 12% increase in attendance over this last year. I want to say that because some of you know, and we've talked about it before, there is in our country, actually being in Boston for a few days, I realized that most churches, let's put it this way, 80% of churches are either in decline or plateaued. The other thing that's been happening, that there have been 200 year-to-date, over this last year, so to speak, bread calls. How many know what a bread call is? A bread call is where you show up as a first-time visitor. If you're brave enough to put your name down on the guest card and you don't live in Boston, then I show up on Tuesday or Wednesday night with a bread call that tells you we're glad that you came to Glendale. If you don't know, maybe you haven't been around long enough to know, you need to know that when the offering plate goes by, that each week 18% of what goes into that offering plate goes into missions. And so that money is spent both Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, but also to the very ends of the earth. This last year alone, just to let you know about it, this last year alone, there were 30 different individuals that went on mission trips in different places like Honduras and like Kenya, like Nicaragua, and like Arizona. And if you didn't know who they were, if you didn't know what was happening in their life, you may not realize that really the gospel is going out, not just in the monies that we send to 19 different missionaries around the world, but monies that appear, sometimes even out of nowhere, to send people in places that they can do the work of the kingdom. I'm going to ask Ricky to come forward, and he's going to tell you a little bit about what happened in Honduras just less than a week ago when 8 of our young people and a couple older ones went to Honduras.
Honduras, 2013. San Pedro Sula, Ocotillo, Omoa, and Gonzales. These were the locations in which 8 people from Glendale Christian Church combined with 8 people from Ohio in partnership through Lifeline Christian Missions to step out on a leap of faith to go and be served and used by God. It was on this trip that we were able to complete 3 roads, participate in many painting projects. We helped in laying the dirt for the foundation of the entranceway at the Omoa Christian Church, where the Omoa Children's Home goes to worship on a regular basis. It was also at these locations that we helped in leading 2 VBSs for the youth, helped in a youth service. We also participated in 2 church services, led 2 ladies' Bible studies, a men's Bible study. We were able to go and give out baby layettes to mothers that are expecting and that were new mothers. Also, in addition to these things, we were able to help in giving the gifts to the sponsored children, and to see their joy on their faces was incredible. We also met with the teachers and the leaders of the schools to pray for them and to hear their stories. We were blessed, and we were grateful, too, to be able to bring down with us 11 to 12 bags, big duffel bags full of supplies to be a blessing to the schools, to the medical clinics. One of those items was 50 New Testament Bibles that were in Spanish to give out to the churches. Behind me, you see faces. And with those faces are names, and with those names are stories. And for just over 1 week, our stories were able to become one with theirs as we truly lived out what it means to be united through Christ. I want to thank you so much for all of your prayers and your support. And in a future date, we'll be giving you guys a little bit more in-depth discussion about our trip to Honduras. Thank you.
This used to be how you would find a church. How many people don't even know what this is? There might be a few. So you'd go to this Yellow Pages book, you'd find churches, you'd look for the prettiest ad. Maybe there'd be 3 or 4 pieces of information. That's all you'd get to make your decision. It might have a map, it might have directions, but it might not have anything that you really need to know to find a church. Well, today, we have totally changed how people find Glendale Christian Church. We wanted to make it as easy as possible. How many have been to the GlendaleChristian.org website? Yeah, thank you. That helps raise our ranking whenever you do that. In fact, we've had 5,000 people do that since we relaunched the website with the new look. 5,000 people, individual computer, maybe family groups would be a better term.
Something new is happening, and we wanted to tell you today, for the first time, so to speak, of what's happening in the area of, and we're going to call this new ministry. There are, in the state of Missouri, you need to know this, between the ages of 15 and 19, over 7,500 teen childbirths. We have high schools in Springfield that now provide nurseries for high school students that have babies so that they can continue their education. Kristen Young, who's been leading our MOPS ministry, has given us the opportunity to branch out in this area of teen MOPS, and this is going to be called Journey.
I'm so excited to be up here today introducing our new ministry, which is Journey. It is a teen MOPS ministry, which is mothers of preschoolers. But since we live in such a college dominated area, it's not only going to be just for teenagers, but teens ages 12 all the way through their early 20s as we work to incorporate the needs of our young college-age moms as well. Unlike our regular MOPS, this is going to be focused specifically towards teens, meeting their needs where they are. So they'll get to come every other Monday from 6:30 to 8:30 beginning September 23rd and just enjoy a time of fun and fellowship in a safe environment where they can form lasting friendships, open up to each other, and be mentored by some amazing women.
We started talking a year ago about what we said was the cause, and maybe some of you have heard about it. Maybe you feel like you've heard too much about it. There are some things that have been happening through that generosity opportunity that we wanted to share with you. You need to know that through the cause and above and beyond our giving, regular stewardship, that there has been, and I want you to look at this number and try to wrap your head around this, that there's been an increase in generosity of 18% in the church in just the last year. Okay, that is, well, let's put it this way. That's what Jesus said is really at the very heart of it, because he says, wherever your treasure is, there's your heart.
You guys probably already know this because we've talked about it for a while, but in total committed dollars, I know it's in your bulletin, but there's over $560,000 committed to come in a 3-year period. To me, I mean, that number is one of those numbers that's kind of hard to just wrap your mind around, but I'm really excited for it because we got a lot of things going on. What's probably even more exciting than the number of 560,000 is the fact that we have total received $120,000 just in a few short months for the cause. Now, I don't think you understand. We've only been doing this for a while, okay? So can we just give a big amen and a clap or whatever and celebrate the $120,000? We've got a lot of things in store for the cause money. What we've used for it so far has been debt retirement and the mission trip to Honduras. Ricky took and led the mission trip to Honduras where they actually worked on the Amoa Christian Children's Home, and some of that money went towards that. I am so excited that I get to be the one that gets to make this announcement because it is just truly something that's been long, long overdue. We would like, can you put your hands together and let's welcome Dana Ray as our full-time children's minister. Dana, I'd like to bring you up on the stage right now. We told her she didn't have to do this, but we've got a little secret.
Hi, my name is Dudley Rutherford, and I'm the senior pastor of Shepherd of the Hills Church out in Porter Ranch, California. It's a little suburb of LA. And years ago, when I was pastoring in Des Moines, Iowa, I met Dana, and she was a wild, crazy, a million miles away from the will of God type person. But she came to have faith in Jesus Christ, and her and I and another team of people there in Des Moines, we took over the whole city for Jesus Christ. And Dana ever since then has been on fire for the Lord. And I've heard that recently you all have had a campaign called The Cause, where she's now full-time. And all I can say is thank you for those who sacrificed and who gave. But you have no idea what you have in store for you there at your church, because God has always used Dana to lead people to Christ. And so this is a great investment for the kingdom of God. Out here in California, our church is a pretty good-sized church. We had close to 20,000 on Easter. And I'm looking forward because I've been asked to come and be the speaker for the Stand. And so I'm in prayer and cannot wait to come see you and to come see Dana and to once again work together to see young people come to put their faith in Jesus Christ. God bless you. And Dana, I love you and can't wait to see you. God bless you. I'll see you at the Stand.
I know the hardest thing about life is change, and yet all of life is change. The change is going to come in a time change, and I want to give it to you right now. The time change is proposed as well as endorsed by all the staff as well as the elders, is that we would leave the 8:30 service the same, which is our traditional service. We would then move to Sunday school class for those Sunday school classes that meet at that 9:45 service, but that all of us, all of you, including me, would be moving our service to the 9:45 slot. So that what that means is that gives us an opportunity in the future to move to that third service, as well as to create what we don't have, which is any additional space for small group Bible studies to start. About 2 months ago, we had our 101 membership class. There were about 8 families that joined in that class. And because we had no room in the inn for the class to meet, we had to open up the doors over there in the chair room, and our newcomers met in the chair room to learn more about what God was doing at Glendale. Because of that, some of our classes, bigger classes during the 9:45 hour, aren't going to have to move, but by moving the second service to 9:45, it opens up this opportunity to give us 2 times more classrooms, which in some ways is going to stretch, because there's some that need to be teaching, as Paul says, but aren't teaching. Now's your opportunity, because the space is going to be there, and the new classes that can start, that we've been wanting to start for a long time, that we couldn't because of space, now becomes an opportunity for growth. That also means that because the 9:45 start will also give a little extra time for that Sunday school hour in the middle, which means basically you have 15 more minutes. 15 more minutes to pray. 15 more minutes to fellowship. 15 more minutes to disciple. Already, as we saw before the summer hit, our major growth in the area of second service, young adults, career class, that there's already a class that will start in 2 weeks, which is Dave and Laura Schumann, reaching out to young adults, careers, college students that desperately need to take the gospel to their generation as well. These things are going to happen, guess what, 2 weeks, August the 18th. So we wanted to give you a little bit of notice and then let you know that we're looking forward to September, when we tell the community and we tell Springfield, there's some new faces, there's some new times, there's some new ministries, because we believe that God has called us to be His people at this time, in this place, to glorify His Son.